At 11:46 p.m., Daniel Reeves received a message that changed everything. The message contained only 4 words: "You're running out of time." There was no number attached to the sender. No contact name, just a blank notification on his phone screen. Daniel stared at it for a moment, then laughed quietly to himself. Spam. He deleted it and returned to his laptop. But 10 minutes later, another message arrived. 42 years, 3 months, 11 days. Daniel frowned. That was his exact age. He sat up straight. Coincidence, he thought. People posted their birthdays everywhere online. Anyone could figure it out? He typed a reply. "Who is this?" The answer came instantly. "Someone who gave you time." Daniel felt a strange chill crawl up his spine. He waited. Nothing else came. Eventually, he closed the laptop and went to bed, telling himself it was just a weird prank. But the next morning, the messages continued. At 7:12 a.m., another notification appeared. "Do you remember Michael?" Daniel paused while brushing his teeth. Michael? The name felt distant but familiar, like a memory buried under layers of years. He typed back, "Which Michael?" The response came seconds later. "Michael Green. Apartment 6B. Daniel's stomach tightened. Apartment 6B. That had been his first apartment in the city. Nearly 15 years ago. And yes, Michael Green had lived across the hall. Quiet guy, friendly, always smiling. Then one day Michael had died suddenly. Heart failure, they said. He had been only 32, Daniel typed slowly. "Why are you asking about him?" The reply arrived immediately. "Because you're alive instead." Daniel didn't answer. He set his phone down and left for work, trying to push the conversation out of his mind. He worked as a financial advisor in a quiet downtown office. His days were normally predictable: meetings, spreadsheets, cautious conversations about retirement funds. But that day, he couldn't focus. The message kept replaying in his mind, "Because you're alive instead." At lunch, another message arrived. "You should thank him." Daniel stared at the screen. "What are you talking about?" This time, the answer took longer. Almost 5 minutes, then the phone buzzed. The night he died, Daniel's chest tightened. The night Michael Green died had always bothered him, not because he had known the man well, but because of something strange that had happened earlier that evening. Something he had never told anyone. 15 years earlier, Daniel had been 31, exhausted, overworked. He had just lost his job. That night he had sat alone in his apartment with a bottle of whiskey and a growing sense that his life had gone nowhere. At around midnight, he had walked out onto the balcony, 6 floors above the street. He remembered staring down at the pavement for a long time, thinking, considering, and then suddenly, sirens. Ambulances screaming through the street below. They stopped outside the building. People rushed past. Someone shouted. Daniel leaned over the balcony railing to see what was happening. Minutes later, he learned the news. Michael Green from apartment 6B had collapsed inside his apartment. Paramedics tried to save him, but he died before reaching the hospital. The chaos pulled Daniel out of his dark thoughts, distracted him, shook him awake. And by morning, he felt different. The moment had passed. He never stood on that balcony like that again. Back in the present, Daniel's phone buzzed again. If Michael hadn't died that night, what would you have done? Daniel's throat went dry. He didn't answer. Another message appeared. You know the answer. Daniel locked his phone and shoved it into his pocket. He didn't want to think about that night, but the messages didn't stop. At 4:33 p.m., another text arrived. Michael Green, age 32. A second message followed. Daniel Reeves, age 31. Then a third. Balance maintained. Daniel felt a slow, creeping dread begin to form in his chest. He typed quickly. What does that mean? The response came immediately. Someone had to die that night. Daniel left work early. He walked through the cold evening air trying to clear his mind. This was ridiculous. Someone was messing with him. Maybe an old friend playing a cruel joke? But the messages kept arriving, each one darker than the last. Michael gave you 15 years. You used them well, but time is borrowed. Daniel stopped walking. His hands trembled as he typed. Borrowed from who? The reply came instantly. From the dead. That night Daniel searched the internet for Michael Green. Obituaries, old news articles, anything. He found a short article from 15 years ago. Local resident dies suddenly. The article included a photo. Daniel stared at it. Michael looked exactly as he remembered. Friendly, kind, alive. Then Daniel noticed something strange. The article listed the exact time of death. 12:03 a.m. Daniel checked the clock in the corner of his screen. 11:59 p.m. for minutes until midnight. His phone buzzed again. 15 years ago tonight, Daniel's heart began pounding. Another message appeared. Time must stay balanced. His fingers felt numb as he typed. Balanced how? The reply came slowly this time, word by word. A life for a life. At midnight exactly, Daniel's phone rang. Unknown number. He hesitated, then answered. Hello. Silence. Then a calm voice spoke. Daniel Reeves. Yes, you remember the balcony. Daniel's breath caught. How do you know about that? The voice ignored the question. You were supposed to die that night. Daniel's legs felt weak. What? But someone else died first. Daniel backed slowly into his chair. That doesn't mean anything. The voice continued calmly. It means you received time that belonged to someone else. That's insane. Is it? Daniel's mind raced. What do you want from me? The voice paused. Then said something that made Daniel's blood run cold. Return the time. The call ended. Daniel sat in silence. Minutes passed. Then another message appeared. A location, just an address. Daniel stared at it. He recognized it immediately. His old apartment building. The one with the balcony. Another message followed. 1 o'clock a.m. His chest tightened. 15 years completed. Daniel told himself he wouldn't go. But at 12:45 a.m., he was already driving. The streets were nearly empty, cold, quiet. When he arrived, the building looked exactly the same. He walked slowly toward the entrance. Another message arrived. Balcony. Daniel's hands trembled. He climbed the stairs, 6 floors, step by step. When he reached the hallway, he froze. Apartment 6B. Michael's old door. It was slightly open. Daniel felt a deep dread growing in his stomach. He pushed the door open. The apartment was empty, dusty, abandoned, but the balcony door was open. Cold wind drifted through the room. Another message appeared. You know why you're here. Daniel walked slowly toward the balcony. The railing looked the same. The street below looked the same. 15 years earlier, he had stood here ready to end everything. But tonight, something felt different. Something worse. His phone rang again. Same unknown number. He answered. You said I borrowed time. Daniel whispered. Yes. And now you want it back. Yes. Daniel looked down at the pavement 6 floors below. That's not balance, he said quietly. That's murder. The voice responded calmly. No, a pause, then the final sentence. It's correction. Daniel's heart pounded in his chest. But here is the truth. The voice continued. You always had a choice. Daniel closed his eyes. Wind rushed past his face. What choice? The voice answered softly. You can give the time back. Silence. Then the second option. Or you can take someone else's. Daniel's eyes snapped open. What? The voice continued. Someone nearby. Daniel's stomach twisted. You're lying. The voice spoke one last sentence. Look behind you. Daniel turned slowly, standing in the dark apartment doorway. Was a young man, confused, nervous. "Hey," the man said. "I got a message telling me to come here." Daniel felt his entire world collapse. Because suddenly he understood the system, the rule: someone had to die. Every 15 years, balance maintained. And now the time was his to pass on.